If there was ever a major league for mistresses, the 17th century French aristocracy under the Sun King, Louis XIV, was it. Versailles was dripping with gold, gossip, and perfume. But behind the glitter, aristocrats were scheming like contestants on a deadly reality show. Enter Marie-Madeleine Marguerite d'Aubray, better known as the Marquise de Brinvilliers. She wanted aristocratic clout, and marrying Antoine Gobelin, aka Tony Goblins, weak as water, unstable as sand, gave her the title. But Antoine was no prize, so she found herself a side piece, the dashing officer Gaudin de Sainte-Croix. When her father had Sainte-Croix tossed into the Bastille to end the affair, fate intervened. In prison, Sainte-Croix met Egidio Exili, a poison expert. Think of him as the Breaking Bad mentor of the 17th century. Sainte-Croix learned the dark arts, and when he got out, he taught Brinvilliers. She tested her new concoctions not on herself or dogs, but on hospital patients. Imagine being sick in Paris, and then poisoned by a noblewoman doing charity work. That's not bedside manner, that's homicide with a smile. Brinvilliers wasn't just experimenting. She poisoned her father in 1666 and her brothers in 1670, all to secure her inheritance. Her husband? She tried 5 or 6 times, but Sainte-Croix kept slipping him antidotes. He was smart enough not to marry a woman who treated poison like perfume. In 1672, Sainte-Croix died, likely while tinkering with his poisons. Police found a treasure trove of letters and evidence linking Brinvilliers to multiple murders. She fled, but was captured in 1675, hiding in a convent. Her trial was sensational. No attorney, endless scandal, and a guilty verdict. She was executed in 1676. Picture it. Paris, 7 p.m., July 17th, 1676. The streets are packed like a rock concert. Nobles, peasants, merchants, everyone wanted to see this aristocrat meet her end. After all, this wasn't some random thief. This was a lady of the nobility who had poisoned her own family. Did you need tickets for the splash zone? Probably. Vendors hawking wine, people craning their necks, the atmosphere buzzing like a festival. And then, out she marched. If you listen closely, you could almost hear a medieval remix of Seven Nation Army echoing through the crowd. Right before the blade fell, she didn't beg for mercy. She didn't claim innocence. Instead, she shouted, "Half the town is guilty of the same crime." Translation: don't look at me. Everyone's poisoning people. Imagine the collective gasp. Was she bluffing? Or was Paris really crawling with poisoners? Either way, seconds later, thunk. Her head rolled, her body burned, and the crowd shuffled off to their evening plans, with that chilling thought echoing in their minds. Why did this hit so hard? Because poison was the perfect invisible weapon. Tasteless, odorless, impossible to detect. Anyone could use it, especially women, who suddenly had a terrifying new way to strike back in a society that usually left them powerless. Men whispered nervously, "Is this the long overdue comeuppance?" Dinner arguments, inheritance disputes, romantic rivalries. Suddenly, all could end with a sip of wine. Paris was buzzing with paranoia. The Sun King wasn't about to let his glittering court turn into a murder mystery dinner party. He ordered his chief of police, Nicolas de La Reynie, to investigate. And oh boy, did La Reynie uncover a Pandora's box. In 1678, a lawyer named Maitre Perrin attended a dinner hosted by fortune-teller Marie Vigoureux. Another guest, Marie Bosse, casually bragged, "I sell inheritance powders. Business is booming. Inheritance powders equals poison." She literally confessed over wine. La Reynie arrested Vigoureux and Bosse in January 1679. They sang like canaries, naming names left and right. Vigoureux claimed she knew 400 poison dealers in Paris. 400! That's more than vape shops in Los Angeles today. These weren't just chemists. They were sorcerers, fortune-tellers, and suburban mystics selling love potions, beauty creams, and inheritance powders. The underground poison economy was thriving. The special tribunal, the Chambre Ardente, was set up to try the accused. Torture was standard, ordinary torture, and extraordinary torture, basically the same thing, just twice as bad. If you survived, you faced execution, beheading, strangulation, hanging, breaking on the wheel, or being burned alive. Vigoureux didn't survive torture. Bosse? She was burned at the stake. On March 12, 1679, Nicolas de La Reynie, the Sun King's chief of police, arrested Catherine Montespan, better known as La Voisin. She wasn't just some shady potion peddler. She was the dealer of poisons, potions, and dark magic rituals for Paris's elite. Think of her as the Amazon Prime of death powders. But when La Reynie peeked at her client list, his jaw hit the floor, because one name stood out like neon lights: the Marquise de Montespan. Not just anyone, she was King Louis XIV's mistress, the mother of 7 of his legitimized children, and basically the real Queen of France. She had more power than most nobles, showered in riches, adored by the king. So why was she hanging out with a poison vendor? Because being the king's mistress was the hottest gig in town. No queenly duties, all the perks, and endless rivals trying to snatch the crown jewel position. Montespan wasn't about to let anyone steal her spotlight. Montespan's actual husband, Louis-Henri de Gondren, was furious when his wife became the king's lover. In September 1668, he had the audacity to march up to Louis XIV and demand his wife back. Big mistake. The Sun King tossed him in prison, then under house arrest. Imagine guards outside your door saying, "Stay inside while the king is busy with your wife." Brutal. Montespan thrived as mistress, but when Louis started eyeing a new flame, Mademoiselle de Fontanges, Montespan went full villain mode. How did she react? Not with poison, not with slander. She allegedly unleashed 2 pet bears into Fontanges' apartment to wreck the place. Yes, bears. Forget subtlety, this was aristocratic chaos. Imagine the logistics, dragging 2 bears through Paris, sneaking them into an apartment, and letting them loose like furry wrecking balls. Versailles wasn't just a palace, it was a circus. In July 1680, Marie La Voisin, the daughter of Catherine La Voisin, the infamous poison queen who had already been burned at the stake, was dragged in to testify. And baby, she did not hold back. With her mom gone, Marie had no qualms about spilling the hottest tea in Paris. She revealed that Madame de Montespan, the king's mistress and mother of 7 of his children, had been her mother's client for 5 years. At first, Montespan just wanted to rekindle Louis XIV's love with potions and spells. Cute, right? Wrong. Because those spells included black masses, Catholic rituals flipped upside down, dedicated not to God but to Satan himself. Marie testified that 3 or 4 newborn infants had been sacrificed during these rituals to make the king love Montespan more. Yes, infants. This wasn't just gossip, it was horror movie material. When murdering babies didn't work, shocker, Montespan changed tactics. Her new plan? If she couldn't have the king, no one could. She allegedly plotted to poison Louis XIV's clothes and those of his new mistress, Mademoiselle de Fontanges. Imagine killer couture, fashion that slays, literally. Thankfully, this plan was never carried out. So how did Louis XIV react when told his beloved mistress was dabbling in satanic rituals and baby sacrifices? Did he rage? Did he banish her? Did he call Ghostbusters? No. Incredibly, he made sure Montespan never stood trial. He hushed it up, kept it quiet, and pretended it wasn't happening. By 1682, sensing things were spiraling out of control and hitting way too close to home, Louis disbanded the Special Commission. He issued stricter laws against poison and declared diviners, magicians, and enchanters are imposters. Magic is fake. Basically, the Sun King told France, "Calm down, y'all. Chill. No more witch panic." By the end of the affair of the poisons, 319 arrest warrants issued, 194 actual arrests, 34 people executed, 2 died under torture. Montespan herself? Never charged. She retired to a convent in Paris in 1691, living quietly until her death in 1707. From real Queen of France to none, it was one heck of a career arc. So what do we have? Bears unleashed in apartments, baby sacrifices in black masses, poison couture plots, a king who covered it all up. The affair of the poisons wasn't just scandal, it was Versailles turned into a gothic soap opera. Behind the glittering chandeliers, France's elite were dabbling in sorcery, poison, and paranoia. And Louis XIV? He just wanted everyone to stop talking about it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share. Every follow helps grow this channel. See you in the next one.